Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, has marked her 60th year with a milestone that carries deeper significance than public celebrations alone might suggest. The true measure of this moment lies not in parties or portraits, but in a quiet, strategic decision by Prince William. He has approved a title adjustment for her children that has prompted measured reflection among those familiar with the inner workings of Buckingham Palace. This development signals a deliberate recalibration of roles within the monarchy while King Charles remains on the throne. It speaks to a thoughtful assessment of long-term stability and the individuals best positioned to sustain the institution through coming decades. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, and her husband Prince Edward have for more than 20 years represented the monarchy's most dependable and consistent presence. They have fulfilled their public duties with quiet determination, never seeking personal acclaim through spectacle or controversy. Their approach has been one of steady reliability, attending engagements, supporting charitable causes, and maintaining a low profile that has earned them deep respect within royal circles. This foundation of service stands in contrast to more turbulent periods marked by public departures and intense scrutiny. For mature observers of the institution, their record illustrates how sustained commitment and discretion form the bedrock that allows the monarchy to endure. Prince William's recent considerations of their family's role suggest a recognition that such reliability is not peripheral but central to the future stability of the crown. In an era where public institutions face constant examination, the value of those who simply show up and perform their responsibilities without fanfare cannot be overstated. Sophie and Edward have built a legacy rooted in loyalty and competence, qualities that provide reassurance amid broader societal changes. Looking back to Sophie's 2020 interview offers important context for understanding the family's original intentions regarding their children. She spoke with notable candor about raising Lady Louise and James with the expectation that they would likely need to pursue professional careers outside the royal framework. The HRH titles, while technically available, were presented as optional, with the emphasis placed on preparing them for independent lives unburdened by full-time royal obligations. This reflected a thoughtful, mature parenting philosophy that valued personal development and normalcy over inherited privilege. For those of a certain age who have witnessed the evolution of royal life across decades, this approach resonated as pragmatic and grounded. It acknowledged the realities of modern expectations while honoring tradition. The interview revealed Sophie's desire to shield her children from excessive pressure, allowing them space to form their own identities. Such reflections highlight the careful balancing act required within the royal family, where personal aspirations must be weighed against institutional needs. The passage of time has brought new considerations, yet the sincerity of those earlier statements remains a testament to genuine parental concern. The granting of the Earl of Wessex title to James represents far more than a ceremonial formality. It constitutes a deliberate recalibration of his place within the royal structure. Previously positioned for a largely private existence, James now carries a historic title that formally aligns him with expectations of public service and institutional contribution. This shift carries profound implications for the family's trajectory and for the monarchy's broader succession planning. For those with the perspective of decades observing royal matters, such changes rarely occur in isolation, but reflect evolving assessments of capability, loyalty, and necessity. The title connects directly to Prince Edward's own earlier role, creating a sense of continuity while signaling new responsibilities. It acknowledges that the original vision of complete withdrawal from royal duties may no longer serve the institution's pressing needs in an era of reduced active members. Sophie, at 60, witnesses this evolution as a validation of her family's long-term dedication. The significance lies in its quiet assertion that reliability and proven service merit elevation and trust at this pivotal moment in the monarchy's modern history. The monarchy has actively pursued a streamlined operational model for years, seeking efficiency through a smaller core of working royals. Yet this approach encounters a fundamental arithmetic challenge. The sheer volume of annual engagements, international visits, charitable patronages, and domestic commitments demands more hands than currently available. King Charles, now 76 and contending with health considerations, has necessarily moderated his schedule while maintaining the dignity of his position. Queen Camilla fulfills her role with steadfast commitment, but faces the realities of public expectation and personal bandwidth. Princess Anne's legendary work ethic continues to set a high standard, yet even her contributions highlight the limits of individual capacity over time. Prince William and Princess Catherine shoulder an increasingly prominent load as the recognized future of the crown, all while nurturing their 3 young children. This numbers problem is not abstract but practical, risking gaps in visibility and service that could diminish public connection. The strategic positioning of Sophie's family directly addresses this vulnerability by drawing upon an established, trustworthy branch rather than seeking external solutions. It reflects mature institutional management that prioritizes sustainability. Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, has carved out a distinctive humanitarian legacy that reflects profound personal conviction and a sophisticated understanding of how royal influence can be applied constructively on the global stage. Her extensive travels to some of the most complex and dangerous regions, notably in Africa, have taken her to South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sierra Leone, where she has confronted the devastating realities of conflict, displacement, and gender-based violence. These are not symbolic visits arranged for public consumption, but engagements involving direct interaction with survivors, local leaders, and organizations working under extraordinarily difficult conditions. Her focused advocacy on issues often marginalized in international discourse has earned her the Hillary Rodham Clinton Award, an acknowledgement that places her efforts alongside those of seasoned global advocates. At 60, Sophie's body of work stands as compelling evidence of a mature approach to public service, one that prioritizes measurable impact over visibility. Her long-standing commitment to preventing blindness has similarly involved hands-on engagement in remote communities and overcrowded medical facilities, directing attention and resources where they are most needed. This record not only elevates her personal standing, but enhances the monarchy's credibility as an institution capable of addressing substantive human challenges with empathy and persistence. For those who have lived through eras of both ceremonial royalty and more activist approaches, Sophie exemplifies a balanced and effective model. The personal bond between Sophie and the late Queen Elizabeth II was one of the quiet stabilizing forces within the royal family during the final decades of the Queen's reign. Rooted in shared values of duty, discretion, and uncomplaining service, their relationship extended beyond formal protocol into genuine affection. Sophie's rare public reference to the Queen as Mama revealed the depth of warmth and trust that had developed over years of close collaboration. The late Queen, whose own life embodied unparalleled continuity and resilience, clearly saw in Sophie a reliable confidant and supporter capable of upholding the highest standards of royal conduct. This connection proved especially meaningful during periods of family transition and public challenge. For mature observers familiar with the subtle interpersonal dynamics that sustain great institutions, such bonds often prove more influential than formal titles or public announcements. The trust established during the Queen's lifetime has evidently carried forward, informing contemporary decisions that elevate Sophie's family. It serves as a powerful reminder that personal relationships, when grounded in mutual respect and shared purpose, provide essential continuity across reigns and generations. The recent elevation of Sophie's children through carefully considered title changes stands as a clear and deliberate institutional recognition of more than 25 years of steadfast loyalty, discretion, and unblemished service offered by Sophie and Prince Edward. In the broader context of recent royal history, marked by high-profile exits, public accusations, and periods of intense media scrutiny, this consistency emerges as an exceptionally valuable asset to the monarchy. Prince William's decision to approve these adjustments is not a casual, familial gesture, but a thoughtful affirmation that reliability and quiet dedication merit formal acknowledgement and increased responsibility. The earlier granting of the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh titles to Edward and Sophie formed an important precursor, signaling their transition from supporting players to more central figures. For individuals who have observed institutional dynamics over decades, rewarding proven loyalty represents wise governance. It builds resilience by reinforcing branches that have demonstrated they can be trusted during challenging times. Sophie reaching 60 provides a poignant backdrop for this validation, highlighting how sustained commitment over a lifetime earns respect and opens pathways for the next generation. This elevation reinforces the message that the monarchy values those who serve without seeking personal spotlight or advantage. Lady Louise Windsor is gradually stepping into greater public visibility with a composure and natural poise that many seasoned observers find particularly noteworthy. Her demeanor conveys a maturity and self-possession that seem almost anachronistic in today's often frenetic public culture. Participation in carriage driving, the sport her late grandfather Prince Philip held dear creates a meaningful personal connection to royal heritage while showcasing discipline and grace. Those with life experience appreciate how such qualities, quiet confidence combined with respect for tradition, serve public institutions effectively over time. Louise's appearances at significant family and national events have been handled with appropriate dignity and emotional restraint, earning quiet admiration rather than sensational coverage. This measured emergence reflects the family's emphasis on preparation and humility rather than premature exposure. At this stage, she represents a promising figure capable of contributing substance and continuity to the monarchy's future public presence, embodying values that resonate with audiences who value steadiness and authenticity. James's formal assumption of the title Earl of Wessex marks a significant and deliberate turning point in his life and in the positioning of Sophie's family within the monarchy. Once part of a clear strategy to allow the children a largely private existence with the possibility of ordinary careers, James now carries a historic title that brings with it both heritage and expectation of future service to the crown and nation. The title, previously held by his father before his elevation to Duke of Edinburgh, creates a direct line of continuity while signaling that James is being prepared for a more active role when circumstances require. For mature individuals who understand the weight of such responsibilities, this change represents a thoughtful reassessment driven by the monarchy's practical needs rather than personal ambition. James has benefited from parents who emphasized humility, education, and protection from premature public pressure, allowing him to develop a strong personal foundation before stepping into greater visibility. At Sophie's 60th year, this elevation stands as recognition that the family's long record of reliable service now extends meaningfully to the next generation. It adds depth and dependability to the royal roster at a time when additional steady hands are strategically valuable. Prince William is demonstrating a clear, calculated, and forward-thinking strategic vision for the monarchy's evolution. Rather than simply waiting for his turn on the throne, he is actively shaping its structure and support system while his father still reigns. His increasing engagement with complex diplomatic issues, global challenges such as climate and mental health, and high-level international meetings reveals preparation that is both broad and deep. By facilitating the elevation of Sophie's children and recognizing the value of her family's branch, William is deliberately building a network of loyal, discreet, and capable contributors who align with his preference for quiet competence over more dramatic personalities. This strategic approach reflects mature leadership that understands institutional strength comes from collective reliability as much as individual charisma. For those who have studied leadership across different fields and eras, William's moves reveal foresight and an appreciation for the long game, preparing the monarchy not just to survive but to maintain relevance and public connection in a rapidly changing world. Princess Catherine has undergone a substantial and impressive maturation process, transforming into a poised, influential, and globally respected figure whose contributions carry increasing weight. Her focused work on early childhood development, family well-being, and mental health initiatives has moved beyond symbolic patronage to influence broader conversations and practical outcomes. This evolution demonstrates personal resilience, intellectual growth, and a deepening understanding of how to wield soft power effectively within the constraints of royal life. In partnership with William, she forms the undeniable core of the monarchy's future while already shouldering significant present responsibilities. Observers with life experience recognize the considerable personal discipline required for such a role, the balance of motherhood, public duty, and personal authenticity. Catherine's maturing presence brings warmth, relatability, and modern relevance to the institution. Yet it also highlights the practical need for wider family support to prevent overburdening the primary line and to sustain the full range of royal commitments. The monarchy is confronting a very real generational challenge as many of its most experienced senior members reach advanced ages after providing decades of dedicated, often understated service. Figures such as the Duke of Kent, Princess Alexandra, and the Duke of Gloucester have formed a reliable backbone for countless engagements and patronages over the years. Their eventual reduction in active roles creates structural and operational pressures that cannot be ignored if the institution is to maintain its breadth of activity and public visibility. This challenge requires careful, forward-looking management rather than reactive measures. Sophie's family, with its proven track record of loyalty, discretion, and scandal-free conduct, offers a natural and trustworthy avenue for addressing addressing these gaps. At 60, Sophie's milestone coincides with this period of transition, making the elevation of her children a timely and pragmatic response. Those familiar with institutional longevity understand that successful organizations anticipate and plan for such demographic shifts well in advance. Discretion remains one of the monarchy's most potent and enduring strengths, particularly valuable in an age defined by instant communication and relentless public examination. Sophie and Edward's family has consistently embodied this quality by maintaining personal privacy, refraining from public grievances, and directing their energies toward dutiful service rather than personal narrative. This restraint protects the dignity of the institution and prevents minor matters from becoming major distractions. Individuals who have lived through periods of intense royal scrutiny recognize how profoundly discretion, or its absence, affects public trust and internal cohesion. In Sophie's case, discretion has allowed her humanitarian commitments to retain focus and authenticity. It forms a quiet but critical foundation that enables the more visible elements of royal life to function effectively. The strength of discretion is subtle yet powerful, contributing significantly to the monarchy's long-term resilience. Sophie's service to the monarchy and to wider causes is distinguished by its depth, authenticity, and substantive impact rather than reliance on spectacle. Her humanitarian work in difficult regions, advocacy for preventable blindness, and support for survivors of conflict-related trauma demonstrate genuine engagement sustained over many years. This approach has built credibility that extends far beyond royal circles. She has instilled similar values in her children through consistent example rather than mere instruction, creating a family ethos centered on meaningful contribution. For people of experience who have learned to distinguish between appearance and reality, Sophie's model of service offers a refreshing and admirable standard. It shows how royal privilege can be channeled responsibly toward tangible good, enriching both the causes supported and the institution itself. This rooting in substance strengthens the monarchy's moral authority and public standing. Preserving essential royal traditions while adapting to the demands of a changing society is one of the monarchy's perennial and most delicate tasks. Sophie's family, through figures like Lady Louise and James, helps maintain important connections to the past through personal interests, values of humility, and respect for heritage, while preparing for contemporary roles that require greater flexibility. Sophie herself has played a key role in fostering this balance within her household. Mature reflection on institutional history shows that those monarchies and organizations which successfully blend continuity with adaptation tend to endure most effectively. The current positioning of Sophie's children illustrates how tradition can be honored without becoming rigid, allowing the monarchy to evolve in ways that reinforce rather than undermine its distinctive identity and purpose. The monarchy is currently engaged in a purposeful and measured redefinition of roles and responsibilities across the royal family, a process guided by strategic assessment of long-term needs rather than momentary pressures. Prince William's decisions to support title elevations and greater recognition for Sophie's children exemplify this intentional approach. It is not about expanding the institution for its own sake, but about creating a more balanced, sustainable, and effective distribution of duties among those who have demonstrated reliability, discretion, and genuine commitment over many years. This redefinition takes into account practical realities: the aging of senior members, the demanding workload on William and Catherine, and the necessity of maintaining broad public engagement without overburdening any single line. For those with experience in organizational leadership or institutional management, such recalibration represents prudent governance that strengthens resilience by aligning responsibilities with proven capability. At the milestone of Sophie's 60th birthday, these redefined roles serve as quiet validation of her family's decades of loyal service while positioning them to contribute more meaningfully in the years ahead. The purpose behind this redefinition is clear: to ensure the monarchy remains capable, relevant, and well-supported as it moves through generational change, preserving its capacity for public service while adapting to contemporary expectations. Sophie and her immediate family have established themselves as essential quiet pillars that help sustain the broader architecture of the British monarchy. Their contribution lies not in dramatic public moments or high-visibility campaigns, but in the steady accumulation of loyal service, discretion, and reliability over more than 25 years. In any enduring institution, such quiet pillars often prove indispensable because they provide stability during periods of transition, external scrutiny, or internal adjustment. They allow the more prominent figures to fulfill their roles without the entire structure becoming overly dependent on a small number of individuals. Sophie's consistent humanitarian work, Edward's steadfast fulfillment of duties, and the family's overall avoidance of controversy have built a foundation of trust that senior members of the family clearly value. For mature observers who understand how institutions truly function over decades, these quieter elements frequently determine long-term success more than the most visible ones. As the monarchy faces generational shifts and evolving public demands, the importance of these reliable, low-drama pillars becomes increasingly evident. They embody a form of service that prioritizes duty and continuity above personal spotlight. The royal family is presently navigating a complex and multifaceted period of transition that encompasses generational change, shifting public expectations, strategic repositioning of family members, and the practical challenges of sustaining extensive royal commitments. This navigation requires careful judgment, balancing respect for long-established traditions and personal dynamics with the need for pragmatic adaptation to ensure the institution's continued effectiveness and relevance. William's support for the advancement of Sophie's children forms an important element within this larger process, helping to strengthen the support framework in anticipation of greater future demands. The approach is characterized by deliberation, restraint, and attention to long-term consequences, rather than hasty public announcements or disruptive shifts. Those who have witnessed previous royal transitions understand that success in such periods often depends on quiet preparation and thoughtful alignment of roles with capabilities. Sophie reaching 60 provides a reflective milestone during this navigation, highlighting how individual family journeys and institutional requirements intersect. The process underway suggests a conscientious effort to manage change in a way that preserves dignity, continuity, and public confidence while preparing the monarchy for the decades ahead. The future of the British monarchy is being shaped in ways that are often subtle, strategic, and deliberately understated, rather than through grand gestures or sudden overhauls. The developments surrounding Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, at this significant milestone in her life, including the recognition and elevation of her children's roles, perfectly illustrate this measured method of institutional evolution. Prince William's broader vision, reinforced by the reliable and values-driven contributions of branches like Sophie's family, points toward a monarchy that maintains its historic dignity and core traditions, while adapting thoughtfully to modern realities and generational realities. For audiences with the perspective that comes from years of observation and life experience, this preference for subtlety represents genuine institutional strength, wisdom, and prudent stewardship rather than weakness or hesitation. The quiet foundations being laid now, emphasizing loyalty, discretion, substantive service, and strategic role definition, carry the potential to support the Crown's enduring capacity for service to the nation and the Commonwealth well into the future. This subtle shaping of what lies ahead suggests confidence that the monarchy can continue to evolve with grace and purpose, remaining a stable and respected institution even as the world around it changes. The transformation is gentle yet determined, focused on longevity and quiet effectiveness.